What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are league racing once again. This is the Italian Grand Prix, and hopefully in this one we can finally get that clean race we well and truly deserve. Heading into this one, had a little bit of practice. I was feeling quite confident in my pace. Monza is always a track that I do well at, so hopefully we can carry that forward into this season's race. Now, normally, in these league racing episodes, we have a lot of bad luck, and I can unfortunately disclose to you guys that we've been dealt another blow. And this one has been dealt even before the race has even started. If you remember back to Baku, oh my god, it's Joe, ran into the back of us and cost us the race win. He has been given his race win back, and we've been stripped of first place. So, that's more points we have lost in the drivers' standing. So, like I said, championship was already well and truly over. Now it's just tenfold, completely done. So here we are in Italy. Hopefully in this one we can get our first win once again, and hopefully win it on the track this time. But yeah, qualifying, it's a bit cloudy out there, so track conditions are quite cool. It's going to look after the tyres over the duration of qualifying, so that's going to be cool. In the race though, we're going to have some weather intervene. Some rain about half an hour into the race or something like that, according to the weather forecast, so that's something we'll need to watch out for. First lap is over, and we set a 1:22.3. Okay, as a banker, but the timer I want to be is inside the 21s, and V6 Racing has opened the account with a 1:21.5. That's going to be quite tough to beat in this session so far. So, in terms of the strategy for qualifying, doing 2 runs on the super soft tyres, and then at the end of the session, we're going to bolt on a set of soft compound tyres and try and topple all of the times that we've done on the supers. So here we go on the super soft tyres now for our second run. We're currently a 10th up in the first sector, heading into the middle sector now. You can gain a little bit of time by getting to the left side of that orange mound inside the chicane without getting a corner cutting warning. The curbs around here in Monza are quite deadly. Some of them are auto spin curbs. The ones in the first 2 sectors are very high, and they can send the car up onto 2 wheels, and if you get into that kind of nonsense, then you lose so much time. But through the third sector now, over 5/10 up, so this lap is looking very solid at the moment. A bit scrappy through the exit of the Ascari chicane, and you can see we're just losing a little bit of time to our Delta, as the exit wasn't as clean as what I'd like. Braking very late into the final corner, just before the 50-meter board, and again, losing ever so slightly bit of time. It's 5/10 improvement across the line, puts us P2, and within 4/10 of pole position before V6 Racing improved at the death there. So, unfortunately, on the soft compound run that we didn't improve. So, we're going to be starting on the softer compound tyre. New Zealand Ryan also beats us in the final 2 minutes. It was a little bit costly for me that I did my fastest lap about halfway through the session. So, that was a little bit costly. Also, for those of you who don't know, Zezzy Amy and also X-Fit are not going to be making an appearance in today's race. They've got some other commitments, which is keeping them from racing. So, hopefully we can get some points over those guys into the race. And as you guys saw on the race strategy, we have rain heading for us towards the end of the race, but it's not always accurate. It can always come a lot earlier, so that's what we're going to check now with the engineer.
Conditions should remain dry. We will keep you informed of any changes to the weather.
Okay, well, that's pretty interesting. No immediate threats of rain, at least for another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. The guys on the soft compound tyres are possibly going to get away with a one-stop, providing it does stay dry. There's no guarantee of that, so hopefully whatever strategy we have up our sleeve can work for us in this Italian Grand Prix. 5 red lights and away we go. Are you serious? Pumps to the Win has been disqualified from the race. And yeah, that just happened. Safety car has been deployed as well, so that has actually saved me because we've chipped off a bit of our front wing there. But that was mental. We lost... Oh my goodness. I can't believe what happened. So, for those of you who don't know, sometimes there can be issues with F1 2016 online where some people get released earlier and some people get released way later after the 5 red lights go out. And that's what happened to me. This time I got released way earlier than everyone else and didn't have enough time to react before running into the back of V6 Racing. So we chipped off our front wing. Thankfully enough, the safety car has been deployed in this Grand Prix, and that has well and truly saved us. Here's a replay of the start. This is from New Zealand Ryan's point of view in second place. You'll see on the left-hand side, we just, run straight into the back of V6. So the opposite thing happened to me in Russia. Everyone got deployed before I did. At this time, I get the jump start on everyone, but I still come out worse for wear. So, I don't know, a little bit frustrating. Also for Ryan, he lost a few positions off the start there. Poor timing of the safety car being deployed. And this is Palms to the wind getting spun off of the start. This is what happened to me in Russia. And it's one of the biggest glitches in F1 2016. It needs to be rectified before 2017. But, this is on board with Warden. No, this is on board with Harry Ryan, who gave KMP4 a lag tap, which then subsequently ran K into the back of Palms to the wind, and that's how he got disqualified. So, a massive domino effect, which has really affected a few people's races here. And, again, it continues to the end of the first lap where Greekmaster gets swiped by another driver. And I'm not too sure if he actually had the time to go into the pit lane there. Here's the replay of Ryan's stop. He stopped on the end of the first lap, but it wasn't for front wing change. It was a strategy change, believe it or not, getting off of these super soft tyres. So very smart ploy there from Ryan. With the weather intervening later on in this race, the stop onto the medium tyres straight away might actually help us later on in the Grand Prix, providing that the rain comes down before we need to get rid of these tyres. So, yeah, just 2 laps into this Grand Prix and already so much has happened. That DC Shadows has gone off the road under safety car conditions, and that's given us a free position there. And someone else pitted on the next lap after that. So now, after all that, we are P6.
Sorry, we can't provide you with that information right now.
And unfortunately, after a checkup with the engineer, we are still flying blind as to whether the rain is going to come or not. So, yeah, getting ready to get this race back underway on the medium tyres. There are some people, as New Zealand Ryan suddenly brakes under safety car. He was lucky to get his position back. We're all flying blind here. There are some people at the front of the field, like Joe, who are on the soft compound tyres. And it's going to be interesting for him whether he can actually make it to the wet weather spell. It remains to be seen. But here we go, ready for the restart of this Grand Prix. Just look at how packed we all are. We've got Joe up front, we've got HO in second, Greekmaster in third place, and then we have Warden up in P4. So a lot to play for in this Italian Grand Prix, and away we go once again. New Zealand Ryan looking for all avenues to try and get up the inside of a couple of guys, and I'm now being overtaken by DC Shadows into turn number 1. But this is on board with HO. He's locked up at the first chicane, and he's running to the side of our race leader, Joe. And I believe he's actually chopped off a bit of his front wing as well. So what a mistake to make at a very crucial part of this Grand Prix. Joe now has damage. He's in the lead still, but I don't know, with the durability of its tyres, I think he was going to stop in the next 5 or so minutes or so. But yeah, not what you want to be dealing with. Harry Ryan is being monstered by a whole load of cars. New Zealand Ryan gets up his inside, and now my teammate Warden and myself are going to line up and move on Harry Ryan very, very shortly. What a manic Grand Prix this has been so far. Probably one of the most, hectic of the season. I think it's Toro Rosso spun off into the infield there and into the barriers. Hopefully they can continue on with their race. But we have New Zealand Ryan, who's run wide through Ascari in third place, chasing down his teammate HO. We're still chasing down our teammate as we get a bit hairy there on the exit of the Ascari chicane. I almost think it's Parabolica that I keep calling that chicane. It's not. That's Parabolica that we're going through now. But New Zealand Ryan following his teammate, that's HO. He goes into the pits. Very untimely stop to make just after the safety car period has been done with. But this is a replay of the incident. HO completely cutting the chicane and yeah, making contact with the race leader. In that kind of scenario, you've really just got to avoid contact at all costs. And this is another incident that happened right at the same moment as the restart. This is Greekmaster going into turn 1. Outbraked himself, had nowhere to go, so he goes to the escape road, destroys a couple of barriers, and goes on his way, but only to get a penalty. So a bit unlucky there. I thought he slowed up enough to avoid getting the penalty. The game thought otherwise. Lap 7, chasing down Warden, trying to get very close to the podium positions. Harry Ryan up in 3rd place is a bit of a mobile chicane at the moment, if he doesn't mind me saying. But you know, he is fairly decent. It's just he's under pressure with a lot of cars, and he's feeling that pressure, making a lot of mistakes. We go around the outside now, following our teammate. I might try and look to go up with the inside of Warden as well. Couldn't quite make that one stick, as Harry Ryan was also looking to go back up my inside in the process. So yeah, absolutely hectic race at this stage. This is Harry Ryan going for a move into turn 1 after we just overtook him. But thankfully enough, we both managed to survive. Team radio.
Fernando is faster than you. Can you confirm you understood that message? Okay, mate. Good lad. Just stick with him now. Sorry.
So, yeah. As you can see there, there's been a positional change there at Renault. Warden felt like he wasn't as quick as what I was and actually let me through. There was no verbal communication between the two of us. He just decided to do that off of his own bat, and I really appreciate that. So now that we've been given 2nd place, I think Joe made a pit stop as well in that whole process with the teammate. And now it's just us trying to chase down New Zealand Ryan for the race victory. This is Greekmaster on board. Going through the middle sector behind KMP4. Takes a little bit too much curb on the entry, oversteer on exit, and into the barriers. So easy to do. It is just like Spa. When you're running such low downforce, it is so easy to lose the car because there's just no stability at high speed. But we carry on lap 12. We are pretty pacey at this phase of the Grand Prix. It seems like New Zealand Ryan isn't really agreeing with the medium tyres in low grip, whereas we seem to be lapping fairly consistently and chopping down his lead to the point where we can now attack here on lap 13. So through the final corner, you can see New Zealand Ryan not really hitting apex at this stage and is really struggling. So we're going to make the most of this in the slipstream, DRS and rich revs to boot. We're going to hopefully take the lead off of New Zealand Ryan, which we managed to do into turn 1. We just got to brake nice and late and secure that position. There was a flash on the screen there, and that always means that there's a weather change incoming. So I'd hazard a guess to say that the rain isn't too far away, which I think we're seeing at the moment. So yeah, got into the lead at the perfect time. We managed to ditch New Zealand Ryan. We broke away from the slipstream of our teammate Warden as well, and this pace really came out of nowhere. I didn't know why I was so quick, but hey, I'll take it. Lap 16, New Zealand Ryan and also Warden have pitted in for intermediate tyres. I thought this was probably the perfect time to pit. It just fit perfectly for their timing of switching the tyres, and I thought as soon as they went in, like, this is it, my race is over. But my engineer didn't say anything about a strategy change. The DRS is still enabled, so technically the dry tyres should be better at this stage, and at this stage we're just making sure that we get to the pit lane without spinning, without locking up massively or anything like that. It's just damage limitation for the rest of this lap. And as we go through Ascari, DRS gets enabled. So at first I was thinking I've lost the lead here, but then I saw the gap back to the guys in 2nd and 3rd, and it was like 25 seconds or something like that as HO runs wide on dry tyres. New Zealand Ryan snaps him up and moves into 2nd place. So I didn't know this at the time when driving because I was concentrating so much, but yeah, we have a pretty sizable lead over the rest of the field, and we're going to have 1 lap fresher inters versus the guys around us for the rest of the Grand Prix. So into the pits now. Hopefully we can get a good stop from Renault. No front wing change to do, and we're straight out there. 2.7 second stop. You can see on the mini-map that the gap to New Zealand Ryan is almost half a straight length, so we're pretty easily going to rejoin in the lead here. It's just going to be a case of how much, and I was honestly, like I said at the time, so surprised to rejoin in the lead. But yeah, very, very lucky. 2 seconds is the gap to New Zealand Ryan. V6 Racing, who started in pole position, is now in third, and Warden in the wet conditions unfortunately was going backwards. He just couldn't really work in these conditions, which is unfortunate. Sometimes that happens, but yeah, for me at this stage, I was just trying to lap as consistently as I could. I found the grip levels were so bad, and it was so easy to lose the back end, and locking up was a major issue as well. But V6 Racing gets in front of New Zealand Ryan, so arguably the quickest guy here in today's Grand Prix is V6 Racing. He's got in the second now, and the gap is around 6, maybe 5 seconds back to him. So for the next 3-4 laps, we're just managing that gap down. I knew I could leak about a second a lap and continue to maintain the lead. So at this stage, I was just very nervous, driving very, very conservatively and putting a lot of pressure on myself to make sure I didn't make a mistake. And what happens? We make a mistake on the penultimate lap, and we got a penalty for cutting the first chicane. 5 seconds stop-go penalty. Because we're not making a stop at the end of this race, it'll only be a 5-second time penalty added on at the end of this race, which is so unfortunate. I can only hope now for the rest of this race that the guys behind me have penalties themselves, because it is very easy to corner cut. Thankfully enough for myself, I've only got one warning over the course of this entire Grand Prix. So final lap now, just pushing on. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I just snagged the brakes ever so slightly, and because I'm running such a high brake pressure, it is so easy to lock up in the rain, and that is exactly what happened. But the gap to V6, oh no, it's 4/10, no, that's wrong. Timing is wrong there. It's at least a second and a half, and New Zealand Ryan is about 5 seconds back as well. So it's going to be close between myself and Ryan. Providing that V6 has a penalty, we will be finishing in second in this Italian Grand Prix through the final corner, and that is V6 Racing. He's got a puncture left rear through the final corner. You could not script this. We are going to get away with the victory because V6 Racing has a puncture in the dying seconds of the Italian Grand Prix, and that is our first race win of the season. Wow, that was so lucky. To be completely honest with you, I threw that one away, and then the puncture of dreams has struck V6 Racing, and we end up winning the Italian Grand Prix by just over a 10th. Unbelievable. The reason why it's a 10th, the time penalty has been applied to our race finishing time, but for some reason it's actually not showing on the screen. So yeah, we did in fact get the win. 1/10 over New Zealand Ryan. So unfortunate for V6 Racing. I honestly didn't think the intermediate tyres were that worn, but apparently they were. First race win of the season, Italian Grand Prix. Oh, we were very, very, very lucky. So there we go, guys. That has been this video for today. Another league race. Finally, we get the result that we have been after for such a long time. So many weeks of bad luck and bad driving on my part here and there. But in the end, so good to finally get a win. I think that moves us up to third in the driver's standings now. I'll need to check that up. But yeah, condolences to V6 Racing. That win, so close yet so far. I know exactly how you feel, buddy. But yeah, that's been this video for today. The next one we're off to is Singapore, a street track, and another one I feel like I'm fairly strong at. Not on F1 2016, but in the past I have been fairly strong there. So hopefully we can carry this momentum into the next Grand Prix, and we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks to everyone for providing all of the different angles today. Just made the coverage just that much better, seeing so many different perspectives. But that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and see plenty more F1 gaming content. And until the next one, guys, I'll see you next time.